So hi, John.
Hey man, yeah, it's John from Cong Burn. I'm here to show you two things. We got Strokes, which is a sequencer, sampler, synthesizer, groovebox. We've also got Dispatch, which is a Max for Live device, which is like a modulation matrix for Ableton Live. We've also got Strokes running here on an iPad. It runs as a standalone application on iOS or as an AV3, so you can use it inside of a host like AUM, hook it up to Drambo or something like that. It operates really well there. So yeah, we'll talk about the sequencer and Strokes first. So this is an 8-track MIDI sequencer. Each channel here can be a Euclidean sequencer or a step sequencer. They can run at independent rates and independent directions. So it's kind of geared towards doing polyrhythms. Each sequencer channel also has its own dedicated parameter sequencer down here. This lets you modulate synthesis parameters, effects parameters. Here I'm using it inside of Live with a drum rack to kind of sequence the pitch, a bunch of different voices, and yeah, their effects and sound parameters. We got some probability stuff here. We got a modulation matrix. We've also got this voices page. Now, what this does, we have it's like an 8-part multi-timbral synth. Each one of these voices can be a sampler or one of the 16 built-in synth engines. Those synth engines are ported from Mutable Instruments Platts, which is like an insanely popular, versatile Eurorack module. It's actually the oscillators you find in a couple of the other synths here. Here you get 8 instances of Platts. There's also a little reverb and a delay here. So when we're working in Strokes, we're actually working inside of one of 5 pattern slots, A, B, C, and D. Now when I change pattern slot here, it's actually going to change all the sequencer parameters and all synthesis parameters for all of the voices for the entire device. Now, up until now, you could switch between these using MIDI notes and using MIDI clips. But I'll demo on this device here. In this latest edition, we have this performance page, and the performance page lets us smoothly interpolate between patterns. So yeah, I've just switching the feed over. We're now taking a listen to the iPad here, which again is just running Strokes. But we've got this performance page, so I'm assigning pattern B on the left, pattern D on the right. And then as I drag my finger across, it's actually it's not an audio crossfade, it's a parameter crossfade. So all the sequencing and sound parameters are gonna morph with it. And yeah, this is the newly added since the last time that I spoke to you. Up here we've also got an octagonal XY pad. The way that this works is each one of the 8 synth voices is designated to a different corner of the octagon. So as I move my finger towards one, it's going to increase the decay or any sound parameter we set on one, while simultaneously reducing it on the rest. So it sounds like this. Now this is really cool for doing transitions between patterns.
Kind of good to be demoing a octagon whilst we're in an octagon, right?
Yeah. And yeah, it's not just limited to the decay. We can also set it to be reverb levels, delay levels, or yeah, any sound parameter you want at all. And yeah, another thing that this does is we can actually load in an external project here, and then we can drag the patterns from this into here. Now we can switch the position of these. And what this means is that, say if you've got 20 different Strokes project files, you can actually smoothly morph and interpolate between them on a sequence by sequence, voice by voice basis. You can do this as a live set, so you can play your entire back catalogue of tracks that you've made on Strokes without ever stopping the clock. So yeah, that's Strokes in a nutshell. We've also got a couple of other neat bits, like we've got a little distortion and a compressor as well. So yeah, that's Strokes. It's available now as a VST3 as an audio unit on Mac and Windows. It's also available as a standalone application, and there's an AV3 on iOS. VST3 in audio unit is £35 for now, but it's going to go up, and this is £20. Might go up, maybe not, I don't know.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I can also talk about Dispatch if you want.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
So Dispatch is a global modulation matrix for Ableton Live. Typically when we're working with like, I'll switch back to the Ableton feed here. So typically when we're working inside of Ableton Live, whenever we map an LFO or to a parameter, you kind of can't really touch it after that. It's kind of locked into that. So with Dispatch, we can combine different modulation signals together. So I've got a pulse here. So I've got a ring modulator signal here. These are some different modulation sources that I built myself. We can cross-modulate that with another sine wave here. But the real trick of Dispatch is that we can mix them together. So we take this pulse here, and we combine that with the sine, and now we get a completely new shape that wouldn't be possible in Live otherwise. There's also a kind of backdoor into the plugin. So this sequence here, we can actually patch that into Dispatch here. And now we can combine the plugin sequencing stuff with all of this stuff here. So we can add a sine wave LFO on top of our sequence here and get a totally different new shape. This is kind of designed to be like the crossing point between your MIDI, your external MIDI gear, your Eurorack system. We've got audio CV inputs here. So you can literally patch an LFO from your rig into Dispatch, assign it 20 parameter and live. Likewise, you can take any of these modulation signals that we generated so far and send them out to an audio CV output. So if you've got like an expert sleepers module or a motor interface or something like that, this can really bring together those two worlds. And yeah, there's a ton of different stuff in here. We've got a pulse generator, which, like I said, is just a square on and off. We've got a slope generator, which is a triangle wave. We've got external input, so you can actually attach different live LFOs to this, which has a sample and hold and a track and hold using the MIDI input. We've got a Euclidean rhythm generator actually built into this. And yeah, a couple of other bits as well I'm not going to get too into because they're quite deep. But yeah, tons of different modulation options in this. These two things together kind of, I don't know, it changes live into being something like a total, I don't know, it's a lot of fun, let's put it that way.
Brilliant.
Yeah, dispatches are £25, available from my website, congburn.co.uk, CONGBURN.co.uk.
Brilliant, John. Thank you very much.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Cheers.